Between the Munda and lawyer by Cabrofo. I don't know if you have anything else.
Very well, Captain. First and foremost, I am speaking on behalf of the Assembly.
Okay.
That's Tema Metropolitan Assembly.
Okay.
To address this very matter.
Okay.
First and foremost, the Tema Metropolitan Assembly never dealt with one Uwusu who was in your studio previously.
Okay.
In respect of this matter.
Okay.
Now, I was one afternoon, quite late, very latter part of 2017. My colleague who is here with me, that's the Waste Department head, came to my office in the company of a lady called Cordelia Dwyer.
Cordelia Dwyer.
And that was the lady the assembly dealt with. Now,
please go ahead.
My understanding
Please.
of our discussion was that she wanted the assembly to enter into a feedstock contract. When we say feedstock, we mean the refuse,
Okay.
which will be used as a feedstock for purposes of their operations. The assembly was not going to enter into any formal contract with him. It was just going to be limited to a feedstock contract. Normally, for such arrangement, the assembly would have probably entered into a memorandum.
So what exactly were you expecting them to do?
No. Captain, let me just finish.
Because you said something, I need clarity. I mean, what exactly?
Normally, very well, let me explain.
Okay.
Normally, the assembly would have entered into a memorandum of understanding with a company who may want to engage with the assembly.
Okay.
And out of that initial contract or the MOU, there may be several other components of the contract. In this case, what I recall was a feedstock contract they wanted. The feedstock is the refuse.
Okay.
And then I told my colleague that he should be aware we already have a contract with Amec Africa Limited, in which all these, the Ministry of Local Government, the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Gan South Municipal Assembly, Gan East Municipal Assembly,
Ladade Kotopon,
and Ewutu Senya, including the ministry, had entered into a contract with Amec Africa Limited.
Okay.
And therefore, in my opinion, we wouldn't be able to commit.
Is it your opinion, or the contract really says that you cannot enter into another contract with another company?
No, Captain.
Because
probably let me just.
Okay.
Let me just share.
Because what you're saying is defeating.
No, not at all.
What you are saying is defeating what is in the press statement that was issued by management.
Not at all. Okay. Let me explain to you. Let me just read a part of this contract for your benefit.
Okay.
That is part of Part B. I have the permission of AMEC to make a bit of reference, but I can't talk about the details
that's
of
okay.
this contract.
I'm fine.
Because of confidentiality.
That's okay. I'm fine.
To this end, the TMA, AMA, and the other several assemblies has agreed to appoint AMEC to receive and transfer 100% of Gamma domestic waste that is collected by various public and private upstream collectors companies from the city to a point where the waste is then sorted, recycled, converted into bioenergy by AMEC. So obviously, if all these assemblies, including the ministry, are going to give 100% waste to Amec Africa Limited, there wouldn't be any waste for the Tema Metropolitan Assembly to give to another company. And indeed, the Cordelia was not the only person who came over in respect. We've had several other companies who've come in respect of during the previous administration and even now. So I told them that, very well, you hold on, I will clear this issue with Chief Executive because he was new in office, and I needed to advise him that, oh, this is what we have already signed.
Okay.
Even though I had prepared a report, normally we prepare very bulky report. It takes time to review. So I went to Chief and I told Chief, we already have a contract with AMEC Africa.
Can I ask a question on AMEC?
Please,
Because I did not talk about AMEC. I want us to go into the issues that
lay the foundation.
I understand, but we never said anything about AMEC.
No, because the issue boils down to
that's okay.
The TMA with
the contract you have with AMEC.
Yes.
Though there's some kind of a confidentiality clause.
Yes.
I want to know: is it an issue that it's in the contract that you cannot enter into an agreement with any other company with respect to waste to energy or recycling, or it was a legal advice that because of this there was no need?
No, Captain, if we already have promised or guaranteed 100% waste, any other company that comes will need waste to be able to generate.
So you advise the MCE?
Yes, I advised the MCE that we had this.
And he accepted everything you told him?
We couldn't do a new contract. So he said, could you inform Madam Cordelia via that this is the position? So I then contacted her and told her that this is the position of MCE, which is actually reflects the position of the assembly.
So you told Cordelia?
I told Cordelia
about this. That the MCE says
that in the light of our existing,
they cannot enter into any other.
We cannot enter into another contract.
Okay. So are you aware the MCE met Cordelia and Adansi Jr.?
Well, I wouldn't know.
You don't know?
As far as I remember, and in my discussions with the MCE, the only person he met
I love your answer.
Cordelia.
You wouldn't know. But are you aware that your MCE met Cordelia and Adansi Jr.?
I had a discussion with my MC over this matter.
No, you are representing the assembly on this matter.
That's why I'm
so are you aware your MCE met them?
That is why I'm telling you that the MCE specifically told me that the only person he met in respect of this transaction was Cordelia.
So now my question again, are you aware that the MCE met Cordelia and Adansi Jr.?
Well, I firstly, since I wasn't there, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
But from what I am inclined to believe, the position of my MC.
Do you know?
That is not.
Do you know that Cordelia and Elvis visited the MCE at his official residence or wherever he is more than 4 times?
Well, since I don't live there, I'm not inclined to know.
Fantastic answer.
My MC says
are you aware?
They never met.
No. Are you aware they went for?
Owusu.
No. Are you aware they went for lunch?
How would I know? Since
fantastic,
you're all understanding, these were the only people who
apart from you advising the MC and he giving you this message to be sent to Cordelia.
Exactly.
Did he perchance meet you again on this matter?
Yes, we've been talking over this.
About Nelson?
Not Nelson over.
He didn't tell you anything about it?
No. And indeed, at all times, Ahmed was waiting for...
Fantastic. Are you aware your MC went to Hajia Alima Mahama, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, on Nelson?
If he did, it would have been consistent with our arrangement in the assembly where it involves signing of...
But you are not aware he did that?
That is what I'm telling you. That
for consideration and signing, are you aware?
If he did, just as we did with AMEC, he would have brought in the ministry to be involved in this.
No, but you said you advised your MC lawyer, and your MC agreed to your legal counsel let me finish with all respect, sir. You just told us that you advised your MC and he accordingly agreed to your legal position that because you were going to remit 100% of the waste to AMEC Africa, there was no need for you to enter into another agreement.
Exactly.
Good.
Very well.
And your MCE agreed and asked you to inform Cordelia that there was no need to enter into an agreement because of AMEC.
Exactly.
So it ends there.
No, let me.
So it ended.
It is not so clear cut the way you understand.
Hey, lawyer.
Let me explain to you.
Okay, then explain.
At my level, as the lawyer for the assembly, I wouldn't be involved, or I may be involved in discussions over contract. These are sometimes unsolicited contracts which come to the assembly. The people would have discussed this with the departmental head, and then when it becomes necessary that the assembly is going to enter into a full contract, then I review.
But are
so
you not,
probably all the element, the things you are describing may have taken place prior to the contract coming to me.
don't you think that that's a start with the name of the Minister of Sanitation, Honorable Kofi Adda? Then your MCE directs them to go and remove Honorable Kofi Adda's name from the contract because TMA Metropolitan Assembly works directly under the Ministry of Local Government.
Exactly.
Yes. So if you don't want to enter into an agreement with them, why do you entertain them?
Captain.
Why do you then give them directives? Why then do you then assure them that I will sign? So do this, do that, do this, do that.
Captain, let me explain to you.
Explain.
And your listeners, your respectful listeners. There seems to be a situation where you may be putting the cart before the horse. What I'm explaining is that any unsolicited bid will not come to my office. Contractor
100% I agree with you.
will not come to my
Yes,
office.
I agree with you.
The contractor would have dealt with my MCE or the departmental.
But are you not surprised?
No.
You advise your MCE, he takes your advice, and then he goes behind you as a lawyer.
Why I said you were bringing the cart, the cart ahead of the horse, is that prior to my having to review a contract, it must be obvious that MCE must have dealt with Cordelia, or probably, and therefore would have referred the document to the departmental head to assess, and then it comes to my end. Okay. So at my level, when they came to me, and then I said, look, I needed to inform Chief Executive about the existing AMEC contract.
Did the Chief Executive tell you that whether he's met Cordelia or he's not met her?
Chief Executive has told me he met only Cordelia.
Only Cordelia.
Now, what then?
When was the last time you met with Cordelia?
No, that was the very latter part of.
And you've not met her. You've not met her again.
No, I haven't met Cordelia.
Is it the last quarter, October, November, December?
No,
you don't really remember.
This is not something I had to work on her document.
No, I'm only asking.
It was more or less a casual call into the.
So you don't remember exactly which month?
It was the very latter part of 2017. So certainly, at the level I had to talk to my Chief Executive, that in view of the existing contract.
Okay. And after that, you didn't meet Cordelia again?
He said, could you inform Cordelia that in the light of AMEC Africa's
That's what I want.
contract,
Yes.
could we inform her that in the light of AMEC Africa's contract, we, the assembly, would not be able to sign a feedstock contract with her.
Fantastic. You've made my job so easily for me.
So
Thank you, lawyer.
It meant that there would have been that previous contact.
I am not talking about previous. I am talking after you had met
This
Cordelia.
cannot be after.
Good.
This cannot be
You
after.
said it was latter part.
Very latter part.
Your MCE met them in January 2018.
It wouldn't surprise me because, let me explain to you, Captain.
Lawyer,
let me explain to you.
Lawyer, please. Let me say something. Lawyer, with all respect. With all respect. With all respect.
No, Captain, let me
with all respect to you and your position, yes.
Very well.
As a lawyer,
very well,
representing TMA Metropolitan Assembly, I think that you don't have enough information.
I disagree.
Yes, about.
I entirely disagree.
Let me finish. You will then understand me. You have a lot of information on AMEC Africa, but about the dealings between your MCE and Nelson Ghana Limited, you lack information.
I completely disagree.
Okay, if you disagree,
Captain,
on the 18th of January,
unless you allow me to explain.
So then let me ask you specific questions. On the 18th of January, if you don't lack information, do you know where they met?
Captain, you see, if you ask me a very specific question and you expect me to give you a yes or no answer, that will not work.
No, that's what I'm saying. You lack a lot of information.
Prior to this position, you had stated other issues, and I needed to address them. That is what I'm telling you. I'm explaining that. In all such instances, it is quite normal for a contractor who had been told we would not be able to sign your contract to still pursue and see whether there would be the option that assembly could do something about them. Now, so it is quite natural. So if subsequently Cordelia made contact with my chief executive, it wouldn't be an unusual situation. It wouldn't be unusual.
You think so?
It would be normal. And let me take Adom FM. certainly if somebody wanted to come onto your program, the person would have probably made contact with your producer.
That's right.
And at your level, you would then be brought in at the very last end to say, well, this is a program we have.
Okay.
Could you host this or that?
Okay.
Now, if afterwards the person thinks that, well, an issue may not have been sufficiently clarified, and then seeks to contact your producer or you outside the studio, that may not necessarily be interpreted to mean something improper.
Let me use the same analogy that you just used.
Yes.
Your MC wants to meet my producers. He met them. They brought me in as the host. And I advised that, producers, for this and that reason, we will not be able to host this person. We all agree. Then afterwards, my producers will go somewhere and hear that the same person we all met and we all agree on a certain position. I am meeting them somewhere, giving them assurances that yes, I will do it. Go and do this one. Go and do that thing. Go do this. Go get this. Go to the ministry. To an extent that the Minister of Sanitation came to TMA. After you, the lawyer, had advised Cordelia based on the information from the MCE.
Captain,
that's why I said from the beginning that
I'm not in a position to tell whether this meeting was subsequent or prior to my advice to the chief executive. I'm not in a position.
That's what I'm saying. You lack information.
No, I do not necessarily lack information.
You do.
To the extent that I can address the matter, I should be able to explain.
You would only explain America Africa. You can't explain Nelson.
No, I met Nelson's representative. That's Cordelia.
In latter part of 2017.
When I meet Cordelia,
and your MCE went behind you. I was having meetings with them.
MCE needn't go behind me.
Your MCE came here and assured us that he was going to sign. That's what I'm saying, that, Mr. Lawyer, with all respect to you,
MCE meeting anyone is quite consistent.
Not on something your legal counsel have really advised.
It's quite consistent.
Then it defeats the purpose.
Because you see, this.
The lawyer, you are rather defeating the purpose of America Africa.
The Nielsen contract, I never reviewed. Because immediately they came, I told them, could you hold a discussion? Let me pass on the information to Chief and advise him. So if subsequently there is a further meeting, I wouldn't be...
To the best of your knowledge, as the legal solicitor for the assembly, would you have advised them signing this contract?
Certainly no.
Certainly no. So if certainly no,
and there wouldn't be any more...
Fantastic! Good.
There wouldn't be any more.
And that's why I'm saying that you lack information. Because after you have advised, and also saying here that you wouldn't have advised them to enter into any contract with Nelson, your MCE went back having negotiations and discussions with them.
I spoke with my MCE prior to coming to the studio. Now what he tells me is this: he never met Mr. Owusu. The only person he's spoken to in respect of
then
this,
I had wanted to end this matter today. We'll play your MCE's voice on Monday.
I do not think that would be necessary. I do not think...
Your MC is telling you, the lawyer, to come sit on radio and tell the entire nation that he did not meet Elvis. You just told me.
In the course of this...
No, we will play his voice.
Captain, was this voice recorded as part of this deliberation? If there was a private discussion...
It was not private discussion.
Private discussion.
It was not private discussion.
His voice
you meet somebody at a particular ministry, you assure the person you're going to sign, you call the minister and you tell the minister, yes, Honorable, I've gone through. The next 3 days I am signing. I'll bring you your copy as the Minister of Sanitation. You fail to sign. The minister drives from Accra to Tema. Then you drive back to the Minister of Local Government and she advised you that no, when it comes to sanitation this time, you still have to go and see Kofi Ada. You go back to Kofi Ada, you speak to Kofi Ada, you assure Kofi Ada that you're going to sign, you arrange a meeting, you the MCE, the representatives of Nelson, you met with the minister.
I want to believe this must have been after proud to my
Not
advice
proud.
to-
I am saying this happened in January 2018, lawyer. I am telling you this happened in 2018. You are talking
Well,
about 2017.
By your own admission, I wasn't there, and therefore I wouldn't be able.
So
to
you
say
lack
that.
information to defend this
It is
matter.
not a matter of lacking information. It is not a question, because repeatedly you wanted us to come and address or respond to the issue. And to the best of my knowledge, what I do know as a fact is what I have shared with
Anyway,
your respectful station and the general public. I hope you understand.
well, even if I don't understand, we don't have enough time to continue.
Very well. Well, it's a pleasure to be
All right,
in your studio.
thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, lawyer.
I believe
When
the
is he
public-
coming from Morocco?
The public will now have a better appreciation.
No,
of the
you've
fact
come to
of the issue.
muddy the waters.
Not
the
at
more.
all. I disagree.
Right.
I disagree. Thank you.
Anyway, I don't want 6.3. Lawyer, no. Anyway. Yeah, from paper. 23 minutes after 9. Lawyer Emmanuel Avelogbo. Good. Avelogbo. Okay. Yama panel, yeah, okay. Yeah.